At the beginning of the second half, the intricate play of Sporting Lisbon turned the defense of Man City into pitiful clowns. It was a night full of horror for Pep Guardiola and his students, as they became the defeated in one of the most forgettable matches of the Spanish strategist's entire managerial career in the Champions League. On the other side, the young man continued to celebrate enthusiastically with the coaching staff, players, and sporting fans, even though in just a week's time, he would no longer be sitting in this chair. Ruben Amorim is living through his final days leading Sporting Lisbon before he takes on a challenge several times more difficult, one that his predecessors had given up on. That is, to revive Manchester United after the Alex Ferguson era. Yet, viewers feel that the 39-year-old strategist still doesn't have any plans for the Red Devils of Manchester, simply because he is still fully passionate with Sporting Lisbon, as shown through this morning's absolutely brilliant performance. Sports CMT will join you in exploring what impressed Ruben Amorim the most in the great victory against Man City. The match between Man City and Sporting Lisbon received a lot of attention, as it is one of the last major matches that the Portuguese club will be led by coach Ruben Amorim. The 39-year-old tactician has agreed to become the new manager of Manchester United and will move to Old Trafford on November 11th. It is a significant morale boost for the Manucians after a series of poor performances at the end of Eric Ten Hag's tenure, and undoubtedly, they will eagerly anticipate Sporting's performance against Man City in this Champions League match, knowing that their future manager, Amorim, will frequently face Man City once he joins United. Before the match, Amorim declared that regardless of the outcome of this match, people's conclusions would not concern him. If Sporting's results in the upcoming match are not good, people will stop expecting, but that doesn't mean I will start poorly with Manchester United. And if we beat Man City, people might think I am the new Alex Ferguson, but I cannot compare to Alex Ferguson. But perhaps even he could not have imagined that his team's performance on the pitch would take such a turn, a truly exhilarating match for the home team at José Alvalade Stadium, even though they were initially trailing. Right in the 4th minute, Phil Foden scored for the visitors after a mistake by the Sporting defender. Notably, this was Foden's first goal for Man City across all competitions this season, which is somewhat contrary to his high performance last season when he was one of the best scorers for Man City with 27 goals across all competitions and 5 goals in the Champions League alone. Man City took the lead, yet Pep Guardiola's team quickly felt the intensity that Sporting brought to the table. The Portuguese team had a chance to equalize shortly after, but in a one-on-one situation with Ederson in the 7th minute, Victor Gyökeres couldn't deliver the desired finish. Thereafter followed minutes of City attacking relentlessly and causing significant difficulties for Sporting, with Erling Haaland having successive chances to threaten the home goal, alongside the agility of players like Foden, Bernardo Silva, and Savinho. At least 3 times, the Norwegian player had the opportunity to double City's lead, but he missed each time. And finally, City's inability to capitalize on their opportunities meant they paid the price according to the harsh laws of football. Their defense, playing carelessly in the 38th minute, allowed Victor Gyökeres to break through for the second time and face the visitors' goal. And this time, there was no margin for error from the Swedish forward. The score was balanced 1-1 just before the break. Ruben Amorim demonstrated that he was unafraid of a championship contender like Man City, and in his final days leading Sporting, he was still fully committed to this team, undistracted by plans for taking over Manchester United. The two teams left the field after the first 45 minutes with a draw, but all the highlights were concentrated in the second half, with a quick collapse of the English team. That's when Man City's 4-man defense was powerless against Maximiliano Araujo's breakthrough, the Sporting player making a play with Pedro Goncalves, then facing off and finding the visitors' net to bring the score to 2-1. Not yet recovered from the early second-half goal, Pep Guardiola's side was dealt another blow with an incident where Josko Gvardiol was penalized for elbowing Francisco Trincao in the box. From the penalty spot, Victor Gyökeres scored his second goal with a decisive shot, deceiving goalkeeper Ederson. In the 48th minute, the score quickly became 3-1 to Sporting. People wondered how Man City would respond when everything was beyond the control of the defending English champions. As for Ruben Amorim, he impressed with how the Sporting players developed a fast-paced game, with diverse attacking scenarios. The home team's flanks, featuring Giovanni Quenda and Araujo, continuously troubled City players with good speed and coordination. Meanwhile, the attacking trio of Trincao, Gyökeres, and Goncalves. The Swedish center forward was not just a presence in the penalty area, but played extremely well with his teammates, regularly making runs to draw defenders, coordinating to provide opportunities for the wing players to exploit City's formation. The English team had to use the young defender Simpson Pusey, who hadn't played a minute in the Premier League and was debuting in a high-stakes match like the Champions League because John Stones, Ruben Dias were absent, and Nathan Ake was just returning from injury. Pep Guardiola didn't dare to risk using the Dutch central defender, instead relying on an inexperienced player like Simpson Pusey, alongside Josko Gvardiol, who played quite poorly on the left flank, and Akanji, just recently dealing with a calf problem last week. The lack of cohesion in Man City's lineup resulted in quick consecutive goals conceded just 2 minutes into the second half. And those were the first signs of defeat for the visitors. But naturally, Pep and his team didn't easily surrender. They continued attacking with consistent shots towards Sporting's goal, managing to secure a penalty when the ball hit Diamande's hand in the box. However, a reliable penalty taker like Haaland, under immense pressure from all four stands, unexpectedly hit the crossbar. Statistically, the Norwegian striker had only missed 5 of his total 51 penalty attempts before, and his last missed club penalty was in August last year. And when the most relied upon player failed even in the easiest situation, Man City truly gave up, as Núñez made another mistake, leading to the third penalty of the match. In contrast to Haaland, Gyökeres was too sharp to complete his hat-trick, sealing a 4-1 victory for Sporting. Ruben Amorim is truly emerging as the hottest name in European football right now, not just because he is set to become Manchester United's new manager in the coming days, but also because of Sporting's inspiring form up to this season. They continue their impressive run in the domestic league, having won all 10 matches so far, scoring 35 goals and conceding just 3. After 4 seasons leading the Capital's team in Portugal, Amorim has claimed 2 domestic league titles. With such outstanding achievements, he has received offers from many clubs. Before Manchester United, Liverpool had also approached the 39-year-old coach before officially making a deal with Arne Slot. At Sporting, Amorim has built a highly cohesive team spirit, making every player feel like an essential thread in the structure of the team. This strategist's view is based on treating his players with kindness. First, they are all the same human beings, then comes the relationship between coach and player. Amorim's leadership style has helped embed Sporting's team spirit beyond the dressing room, turning them into a unified body and a formidable team on the pitch. In the match against Man City, the genius of the strategist born in 1985 was most evident. Sporting was completely outclassed by the citizens in terms of ball possession, 27% compared to 73%, and the number of passes throughout the match was less than half of their opponents. Yet they capitalized on their opportunities exceptionally well and always tried to apply pressure to make Man City make mistakes. In defense, Sporting players performed well in falling back, blocking all attacking lanes from Man City's flanks and limiting those errors made in the early conceded goal. They applied strong pressure and tried to win back the ball to launch counterattacks using the speed of the wingers and the coordinated play between central striker Victor Gyökeres and his teammates. The accurate passing ability and good penetration of the midfielders were key to helping Sporting tear apart the defense of the away team. In all 4 goals, including 2 instances of players breaking through to face Ederson and 2 penalty situations caused by fouls from Gvardiol and Matheus Núñez. Núñez himself was a former student, having worked with Amorim for 3 years, yet he surely couldn't have imagined that his former team would play so sublimely today, and Amorim said that he didn't put too much emphasis on the result of this match, because he knew it would affect the expectations of all Manchester United fans, about what he could do when taking the hot seat at Old Trafford. The 39-year-old strategist was very clever to say beforehand that he wasn't and never would be able to reach the level of a new Alex Ferguson. However, in this emphatic victory against Man City, viewers probably saw the simplest thing Amorim could bring to United, the spirit he could instill in the players on the pitch, something the Red Devils surely need when they are currently a group that often appears timid in important matches. This is even true against opponents rated much weaker. The clearest proof is 2 0-3 losses to Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur early this season. In those two matches, Eric Ten Hag's army crumbled in a way they couldn't control, allowing the opponents to comfortably steer the game according to their calculations. But Ruben Amorim demonstrated the opposite in the showdown with Man City, as he accepted to play counter-attacking defense, a safe choice against a Man City with one of Europe's strongest offenses. Sporting handed the game control to the citizens to seize the moment for sharp counter-attacks, shattering Pep and his players in the second half. Amorim's intelligence and sharpness came from his complete trust in his players, based on the unity and the collective spirit he had imparted to his pupils. Manchester United fans certainly gained more faith in the board's decision when witnessing Sporting demolish their opponent through perseverance and discipline. Don't call Amorim a new Sir Alex Ferguson, because that would be excessive, but calling him Manchester United's wise choice at this moment is not an exaggeration, especially when Sporting Lisbon is still flying high in the final days of this coach's tenure. Man City will undoubtedly be an opponent Amorim frequently encounters when he arrives in distant England, and this was nothing short of an impressive greeting to Pep Guardiola, especially since the Manchester derby is more than a month away. From the 10-point performance in the Champions League, Ruben Amorim is ready for the new challenge called Manchester United in the Misty Land. And now, perhaps he deserves to be revered as a legend at Sporting Lisbon for all he has achieved at age 40, an age considered young in the life of a coach.